People, Deluded, I'm back again. Every time I say people now, I think about people because you lot run little jokes and stuff in the comments. It's all love. But yeah, people, I know a lot of you have been asking me to speak about Gabriel. His full name's in the description. Of course, you know I can't say names, but you lot have been asking me to speak about him for a while, and I've kind of been avoiding it. That's just to build my own repertoire on the player. Like, am I there watching him 90 minutes? No. Have I watched him 5 times over 90 minutes? No. So clearly, I'm more knowledgeable about certain other players. You lot know me. I'll never sit here and pretend to know a player more than I do. I can only give you my opinions. He's obviously been linked with Arsenal, 18 years of age, can play on either flank as well as up front. He's an attacking player. He's got a lot of typical Brazilian qualities. And for me, as an Arsenal fan, I know work permits make it tricky for English clubs to get around, to really take hold of South American talents. That's why you typically see a lot of, it's completely different, but Senegalese talents, France are able to exploit that because of work permits. A lot of Spanish clubs and sometimes Italian and more better yet Benfica in Portugal, more relaxed work permits. Again, I'm not going to pretend to understand the laws of the land and how it works, but you see Di Maria, you see typically a lot of players either go there or Shakhtar, and then they go on to do bigger and better things at more reputable clubs. So I feel Arsenal have kind of been behind in that, but a lot of it is nothing to do with us. Obviously, with Raul Sanya and his South American contacts, you want to see us improving that aspect. And Arsenal, we're missing players. Obviously, there are some, and I'm not getting at the players who are having digs, but we miss players that stand up and make us take notice, that make us think. You know, when Alexis was here, obviously he's rubbed now people, but when Alexis was here, you see what I'm saying? He galvanised the fans. He's the one that people are paying. Obviously, we're paying to see the club, but paying to see sort of thing. So we need that sort of thing. In regards to Gabriel, from what I've seen in the clips and what I've been able to pull on him, I like what I see. The first thing that strikes me is incredibly raw, as you would be at 18 years of age, 17, just turned 18, I believe. I think he's got good height. I believe he's just under 6 foot or so. So he's showing someone that can be a physical presence sort of thing, similar to Richarlison in the sense that they're completely different, but in the sense that Richarlison, I wouldn't say he's ridiculously physical, but he can hold his own. He's not the biggest, but he'll throw his weight around. He can do them sort of things, and he's decent in the air from what I've seen. I've seen that he's broken some records since he started his professional career as well, so it seems like he's going on the right track. What else have I got as well? From what I've seen, he looks very quick. He looks fairly skillful as well. I do think another big thing in terms of him being raw, people, is he needs to play with his head up, because he does run into blind alleys. And from what I've seen of the clips and the images and stuff, people, there's a lot of, no disrespect to the Brazilian league, but there's a lot of space and time being afforded to him. And at times, I think his decision making could be a bit quicker. If he joins any European league, it will be things will happen quicker, and you need to think quicker and adapt to it. But I like what I see from him. Like I said, decent in the air, good physical qualities, got a good first touch, willing to take people on, can mix it up as well, come inside and play passes. He's one of them. He looks explosive when he gets into his stride when he's running as well. So he's got quality. He's got some qualities that you're looking for in a player. He's obviously had trials at Barcelona and Man United before previously. Why Man United didn't take him up on that, I'm not too sure. Barcelona the same, I'm not too sure. Again, I don't know. Personally, I do think we're interested, but admittedly, since I've held off from this video yesterday, I saw some comments from his agent. I actually haven't got them to hand, so I'm going to paraphrase people. He said something like there's 25 clubs looking at him, including Arsenal and some other big teams. Now, people, Arsenal might legitimately be interested in him, and I hope so. I want all the best talent at the club. But you got to think about it. If you're an agent and you've got a player that's had trials at Barca, United, two of the biggest clubs in the world, being linked with Arsenal, breaking things at youth level, breaking records in his early senior career so far. As an agent, what would you do? He sounded like hot property. What would you do? You'd exploit that, wouldn't you? Whether that's getting a new contract at his parent club, because it might be worth him staying in Brazil. Similar, I say Neymar's the best example, because obviously Neymar's a world-class player and things like that, but he didn't make that move very quickly to Spain. He waited his time at Santos, he built himself, and then he gave himself the best possible chance to thrive at Barcelona, and he did it. So maybe that's the sort of angle he could go on. I get it, because everyone wants to play in Europe and play at the top teams and improve their lives and stuff, but maybe staying there. So if they do want him to stay, if he does want to stay, it could be a ploy to get a contract. Think about it, people. If you're an agent, if I'm your agent, and I tell a big top 6 club or a big European club that there's 25 clubs vying for this signature, his parent club are going to offer him a new deal. that it's going to spark a bidding war sort of thing, and that's your job as an agent, to get the best financial package, the best, not just financial package, but the best sort of package for your client, and that's what you're going to do. For 10 million, it could be a great investment. He's been linked with Ajax, he's been linked with Watford, and he's been linked with Palace. Ajax would be a great home for him to develop, and you're seeing it with several players. Palace would be a good option. You'd think he'd play a lot of football there. We'd be a good option as well. I don't need to tell you, look, I'm an Arsenal fan. And he's been linked with Watford. All he's got to do is look at the Richarlison links. How Richarlison rejected Ajax for Watford. Look how he was playing to a decent level. He's gone to Everton now, and he's actually been linked with AC Milan. So he could look to his fellow countrymen at that sort of route. But I like what I've seen, man. I like how he reacts well as well. Like, if there was, I don't know, if you have a shot, many people stop and stand still. He'll try and follow up with the keeper sort of thing. I think he follows up very well. He's not afraid to have a shot on his left or his right. He's not afraid to try to pass on his left or his right. So he does the right things. He is quite raw in my opinion, man. Like I said, I'm really not certain on him, to be fair with you. My honest opinion is I don't think he's coming at this time. Whatever day it is in March making this video, I don't necessarily feel he's ready to play at a top European club or a top start week in, week out, but he possibly could be developed into that. He's got scope to grow. 10 million allegedly based on the links. I mean, that's not the worst of offers. I mean, the worst of money to be spending. Obviously, even if he does develop in the slightest, you'd think you can make a handsome profit. And with Iwobi, obviously they're all different ages, but with Iwobi, Holding, Guendouzi, Torreira, obviously the young G's in Nelson, Emil Smith-Rowe, Amici, hopefully, all of these sort of Mavropanos, young players that are tied down, young players that are at the club that can possibly, if Unai Emery's long enough, he gets to build and build them into his way of thinking and mask his team. We also need to speak about resale value. If he comes in at 10 million and becomes a decent player, you're probably looking at 20, 30, maybe more. I say 20, 30 because Arsenal don't get mad transfer fees, at least of recent. But you're looking at the profit. Do you see what I'm saying? That's the cycle of football. I don't want any players to lose, but we claim to be but we're self-financing and things like that. There might come a time if this guy's at the club and I don't know, I'm speaking extreme now, but he develops into a household name in the Premier League and the Barca come calling again, all of these clubs, you then might have to sell him, Guendouzi, Torreira, all of Holding possibly, all of these sort of players. That's the cycle, and it's about continuously finding players that have scope to grow and first and foremost help us in our quest on the first team, like for example immediately getting into the top 4 in our case now, or helping us to become a more stronger club to challenge for trophies. And if they can do that, win accolades, of course, that's all football's about. Yeah, man, I like what I've seen, man. But I don't the big thing for me is I think he's still real, and I don't necessarily feel his decision making is quite there to really. He could hold his own and play, but I don't think his decision making is there to realistically play week in, week out at Arsenal or any other. I know we're not a top team anymore, but top club, if you get what I'm saying. But he's got potential. He's got the raw potential. He does look promising in my opinion. And yeah, man, he looks decent, people. But that's all I've got to say on the man. Sorry for disappointing. I'm sure a lot of you have are more knowledgeable on him than me. He's got a fairly bag of tricks. He's got a fairly good arsenal of tricks, a bag of skills, as you would expect with a Brazilian lad as well. But I just think he's a little bit raw. And to be honest, these are the sort of targets by my own logic that we got to go for. It's completely different, but you've got to go for these talents before they have them breakout seasons or the proper breakout season. Like you look at Pepe, the proper breakout season, he's being linked with Bayern Munich for 70 odd million now. You look at, it's completely different because of ages and stuff, but you look at Mane at Southampton, everyone can see Mane is a bad boy footballer now and stuff. Arsenal fans, I was saying we need to sign him because when he used to wear them yellow F50s and tear us a new one every time we played Southampton, but people were turning up their noses for whatever reason. Maybe it's because his nation isn't more reputable in football, maybe it's because he was at Southampton at the time, this and that. People were turning up their noses. And then Liverpool, like with Salah as well, it's completely different. But do you see what I mean about taking punts, people, educated punts? Took a punt on Mane, seen that he's he's got potential to grow. He's already got the raw characteristics to thrive in the Premier League. Obviously, get him some vapours, getting them outdated boots, getting some vapours, and now you're seeing what he's on. So Arsenal, we can't afford to go into bidding wars, really and truly. I say can't afford because I never know our transfer fee, really, but we can't afford to get in bidding wars. We can't go out there and spend 50, 60 million on a player. We can, but you get the point. I would love us, I have to say it again, if Julian Brandt of Leverkusen's release clause is 24 million, then how that's not been done at Arsenal, I'm not too sure, because he's been in a different role, somewhat in central midfield, somewhat inside. So that could be used. He could potentially replace Ramsey in that regards. And he's obviously a wide man, so he's got 2 positions there that we need to lock down. He's got resale value as well, 24 million as well. It's a no-brainer. But we're going off topic, man, and let me come out of your hair, people. I need to actually leave. So on that note, people, deluded, stay safe, stay deluded. I'm out.